And as I thought about how to think about that, I returned to a quote, one of my favorite quotes from Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass once said, and I quote, "Knowledge is the pathway from slavery to freedom." As I read the quote, it occurred to me that the idea that knowledge as a pathway from slavery to freedom is still relevant today. The contemporary reference to slavery may not be about human shadow, but rather the idea that undereducation can still trap an individual in a life of poverty. And while many strides have been made since emancipation to provide equitable educational opportunities to all, regardless of race, a persistent social problem in this nation is the academic failure of all too many African American children, especially those from low-income backgrounds. Whether because of genes or culture, the dominant belief in Black inferiority has resulted in educational policies that have served to undereducate Black children in America. History tells this story. We can all go back to slavery, where it was illegal to teach a Black person to read or write. During the Jim Crow era, education was not forbidden. However, the law of separate but equal was everything but equal. While desegregation and the civil rights victories of 1964 opened many doors to educational opportunities for Black, race-class stratification in this society continues to place most public schools in areas segregated by race and class, with fewer tax dollars available to support school systems in these communities. And I don't even have to talk about what's happening today with defunding the Department of Education and how that's going to affect the most vulnerable in the educational system, many of them being our children. And so, as we ponder the persistent educational ills faced by many Black people in this society, numerous educators ignore how racial stratification and economic policies have historically served to undereducate Black populations, and instead they would rather stick to the notion of Black inferiority to explain underachievement. Where Black scholars proclaim that African Americans are not intellectually inferior, but that the tests are culturally biased. They argue that Black people's genes are just fine, and that Black people are not psychologically weak, they are psychologically strong. In all, it was argued that Black people are not genetically or culturally deprived, but culturally different. The cultural difference view offered that educational ills observed among Black populations stem from a cultural conflict between the values and behaviors cultivated in immediate Black homes and those required for the mainstream institutions. Moreover, it was argued that the culture of Black homes, the environment, was linked to the cultural traditions of Africa, the original home of most African American descendants. The cultural difference perspective challenges the idea of Black inferiority and contends that the academic performance of many African American children can be enhanced by devising ways to build Black cultural outlets into the schooling process. Each of us to encourage every teacher responsible for educating populations of Black children who are failing to read this literature, to incorporate the principles of cultural difference into their classroom practices towards capitalizing on the cultural assets that these students bring to the school setting. So as I return to the quote, "Knowledge is the pathway to freedom," or my contemporary interpretation, "Education is the pathway out of poverty," I can only say that this can be achieved, but if and only if we open our eyes to the beauty of the culture that African American people bring to the school setting and to use those assets to fully engage them in the learning process. Thank you.
view this entire Eucharist on our website and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and remember to click the update bell to catch the latest uploads from this historic parish. An Inverted Lens production for Historic St. Thomas, Philadelphia.